All right, and we are live. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that little 30-second countdown. I don't know why, but I think that's so fucking cool. Welcome to the Vegas Benchwarmer Podcast. My name is Eric. He hate me 702. This is
Jeremy with a G.
And down below, he will be joining us shortly. We have Coach Womack. He's down there. He's just taking care of some business right now. Right now, I'm just tweeting out live that we're live. So, bam. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about the NFL draft recap. Of course, there was not a lot of craziness that went on, but there was some really cool stuff that happened. Some trade ups that were really cool. We'll be focusing mostly on our teams, which, as you know, I am a diehard Chiefs fan. This guy over here, I couldn't figure out which way to point with you with my fingers. This guy over here, he is, a Raiders fan. And then the guy below us is a Ravens fan. So we're going to be focusing a lot on our teams, of course, but we're also going to talk about our biggest steals, our biggest winners, biggest losers, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then, of course, we're going to get into the Aaron Rodgers drama that stole the draft. If you guys want to go ahead and make if I can fucking talk, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. Please comment. We answer all comments. Follow us on all social media. Main one is LV Benchwarmers on Twitter. And we respond to everything. With that, we're going to get into the podcast. Go ahead, Vince. Shout yourself out.
Yo,
we are live.
Sorry for the delay. What's going on? It's Coach Womack. Live here. Here we go. Ready to talk about this draft.
All right. So let's go ahead. And I just want to, we'll just get this out the way real quick. Who do you guys think is your biggest winners and losers of the draft? Like, who's your biggest winner of the draft, Jeremy?
Probably the Bears.
Okay, and is that because of Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Okay, who would be your biggest
trade up for Justin Fields?
Which was a fabulous trade up, by the way, because I only think they gave up one more first round pick and like a second or third or something like that. But what would you say is your biggest loser?
Probably the Packers.
I hate you. Okay.
They didn't get anything for Aaron Rodgers, and I think the first pick they made for anything on offense was like the third or fourth round.
True.
It's true.
And then it didn't even really help Rodgers. It was just alignment.
True. That is true. What about you, Vince? What do you think your biggest steals are?
Man, I think it was pretty traditional. The teams that were not good at drafting kind of did their normal thing of reach and not take good picks. Like, I'll say, like, the Raiders, for one, is a team I think that reached. I think the Jets kind of always reach. I think the Bengals probably made maybe the biggest mistake of the draft.
By not taking
really talking about that. Yeah, so I think the Bengals probably made the biggest mistake of the draft. Just because, like, their franchise quarterback got hurt in his first year. If you look around the league, like the way the league is today, it's kind of designed for that not to happen. So for that to happen, I think is pretty alarming. And then for them not to pick 5 offensive linemen, I mean, I would have picked 5. I probably would have picked 5 new guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Like left tackle, right tackle, guard, like center. I probably would have picked every round I had to pick. I probably would have picked the lineman, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm agreeing with you on that. Okay, so that's your biggest loser. Who is your biggest winner?
Oh, man. I think the Bears got a win. And I'm not even being an Ohio State homer, but I think just if you look around the division, especially if the Packers get rid of Aaron Rodgers, which we'll probably touch about later, I think the Bears will have probably the best chance to win that division if you kind of look around at the other quarterbacks in that division and just, at the basic around the teams in that division. Like, like if you insert a good quarterback on the Bears, we've kind of been saying that we talked about Watson going there. We talked about different guys going there and how successful the Bears would have been immediately. So that's kind of alarming. I didn't even think about Justin Fields going to Chicago. That wasn't even a team I thought even remotely thought about. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I didn't even think about that at all.
Based off of our mock draft, I just had the wrong damn quarterback going to him. I had Trey Lance.
Right.
I knew they were going to go get a quarterback because they are a team that was literally in the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky. They're not like all the other teams. They're not like the New England Patriots. I mean, the Niners are in a different position too, but they don't suck. Like they added a player to a team that is already playoff ready.
Right.
And the fact that the narrative changed on Justin Fields has bothered me because everybody before the draft was like, "Oh, all of these people should start. If the Niners pick Justin Fields, he should start day one." Now they're like, "No, Mac Jones should sit. Justin Fields should." Look, stop it. They have fucking Andy Dalton. Stop it right now. He should never start with Justin Fields there.
Ever. And I agree.
Yeah, of course, my biggest winner, of course, is the Bears, which is kind of weird that we all picked that. But I just basically stated my case. They had a huge hole at quarterback. They got rid of their quarterback. They bring in a bum, and they got probably the second, if not definitely the second best, maybe depending on who you talk to, the first best quarterback in the draft. And they didn't have to give up shit really to get him. Like the Niners gave up 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance. They gave up 2.
Right.
I mean, that's I think the Bears, and of course I'm gonna go with Jeremy, even though we haven't talked about this. The Packers are the biggest losers. The reason why is you literally had your quarterback come out during the draft.
Yeah,
and say I want out.
The draft.
And say I want out. All season, he had all season to say, I want out. He's just been we don't know what we're doing. That. He came out in the middle of the draft and put all eyes on the Packers. And granted, your defense failed you a lot last year because your defense wasn't keeping up. Your offense was very, very good. But what he did by announcing that and then taking a cornerback in the very first round, which I get it's a need for you guys, and then not addressing offensive weapons or skill position weapons at all, you basically just gave you like whatever your draft plan was, you should have immediately stopped and said, we're taking a wide receiver. Because Aaron Rodgers just put all eyes on us. And now you didn't. So nobody's talking about Justin Fields after the draft. They're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Where is he going to go? Who's he going to get traded to? If you lose a franchise quarterback as good as him that just had an MVP because you drafted Jordan Love, bitch, you lost 2 drafts. Okay?
Right.
You lost.
And it's a funny narrative because everyone's like, "Oh, the Packers really like Jordan Love. They're gonna let Rodgers go." I don't think they trade him. And I've been listening, and I listen to a lot of like sports radio, a lot of local sports radio, a lot of ESPN radio when I'm in the car. So and I hear all these guys' takes, like Max Kellerman and all these dudes are like, "Oh, I think the Packers trade Justin Fields for 2 first-round – sorry, you know what I'm saying? I think they trade Aaron Rodgers for 2 first-round picks and this and that, but I don't see that happen. Like, I just don't see that happening, not at this point. Like, I just don't think that's happening.
We're definitely going to get into that. I definitely think that's happening. We're definitely going to get into that.
You know what's funny is how everything kind of is based around that because, like we said, that came out right before the draft, and I think that kind of stole the whole –
Like Denver, it affected Denver. Denver's supposed to be a leading person to get him, and they didn't draft a quarterback. So they're going with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Where there was 2 that they had on the board. Like, I think that affected a lot of people in the draft, that news coming out, because now you have scrambling. You have scrambling going all around with teams that may want to trade for him.
And another thing that's going to be interesting, too, is, the Eagles situation too, they got Devontae Smith, but another thing too, I don't really see, I don't think they won I don't think they had a successful draft either, and that's just kind of typical of Philadelphia fashion. So I think that's going to be interesting too, to see how that works. Personally, I think that was the worst place for him to go. You know what I'm saying, for Devontae Smith to go.
Mhm.
But
To go to Philadelphia?
You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that plays out. Because it's going to be like Deshaun Jackson 2.0. Like, I don't think that they're going to utilize him the way that they should. Like, and I don't think it's going to work out for him. So you know what I'm saying? But it's funny because it's funny because in our mock draft, I said there would be a lot of people reunited, but I thought it would be Tua with Devontae Smith, and then I thought it would be Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow, and it's interesting that happened too. But you know, it's funny. Have you guys seen the meme where it's the stick figures and it's like Joe Burrow throwing the ball, and he's like getting sacked, and then it has like a nobody offensive lineman, and then it says like Jamar Chase, and then it's like an incomplete pass. I think that's pretty funny. So that kind of came true. So I think the Bengals and the Eagles were my two losers of, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying with the Bengals. Right. I'm sorry, the pairing, you could see, I think the draft you saw where this is something I don't think we've seen a lot in the NFL draft, where teams were trying to get players that they played with for comfortability.
Right.
Like the Bengals drafting Jamar Chase. Nobody's going to talk shit because that might be a good pickup, especially since you guys let go of AJ Green, and I forget they have Higgins. But you need to protect your future, and that's the quarterback. But it was like, okay, who do we go? Tackle or his good buddy that he threw up numbers with and he's comfortable with? Same thing that happened with Miami. I'm not saying Waddle's going to be a bust or not going to be amazing. I just don't know how well he's going to translate to that offense, and they went after him. The Jaguars getting Etney at the end of it. Like, you just had James Robinson that ran for like 1,200 yards.
That was a really pointless pick too.
And you in the first, but again, it's the I know you. This is my buddy. We got to start making our players more comfortable than what we cared. It's no longer just put players on the field and they have to throw to them. They're like, that
definitely shows that they're asking, like, hey, Trevor Lawrence, like, who should we get? And it definitely shows that has a little bit of influence.
It does. Sure. It really, really does. Jeremy, let's start with your Raiders, because he said the Raiders he thought reached in the draft. So let's start with your Raiders. How do you grade your Raiders, buddy?
I mean, overall, I think they probably about a B.
Okay. Now, we did talk off stream before about this. Yes, they did reach for Leatherwood, right? Who the fuck's name is?
They reached, but in my eyes, it's not as bad a reach as everybody's out here saying it is.
It's not as bad because
all his intangibles and work and things he needs to work on is all stuff that he needed to work on at left tackle that don't really translate to right tackle.
Right. And when you look at where he's from, like program-wise, like he's a guy who's going to come in and play immediately, and I think that's kind of what they were looking for. Like Sewell had that year off, so like you know, like he might not be as polished as you're getting a guy who just played his last game in January. So you know what I mean? It's kind of like, are you looking at a guy who hasn't played in 2 years, or are you trying to get a guy who you just saw play against guys who are going to go in the first round? And I think that's kind of what they look at, which kind of has the most value. Which to kind of backtrack is why I don't understand Zach Wilson has so much potential. But that's just one thing that bothers me the most. Like, right? Like, if that's what we're grading it off of, if we're grading a quarterback or a lineman or whatever off of like the people that they played against, like people in the Pac-12 get the short end of the stick. That's why Mountain West dudes don't get drafted, because they're like, who have they played against? Your film's not good enough. Right. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's a little bit interesting. So kind of
happened with Boise, too. When Boise was good.
Right, exactly. So same thing with Sewell. It's like, like he's blowing dudes up, but he's playing against dudes in the Pac-12. He's not playing against NFL players. When you look at the guy from Alabama, he's played a lot of football games, and he's played against dudes who have been in the NFL. Like, he's played against Chase Young. He's played against, dudes like that. Like, he has film against dudes who have been in the league. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's kind of, That's kind of how they value it. So it is a reach in a sense, like they probably might have got him later, but in a sense, you never know. And it's not worth playing a game. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
also,
then Raiders fans irritate the shit out of me because ever since we played our last game last season, all they do is, oh, we need a tackle, we need a tackle, we need a tackle. We go out and draft a tackle, and now they're losing their fucking shit, and it's just like there's fans peeling Raider stickers off vehicles, and it's like stupid shit. Like,
well,
serious?
I told you I was watching that broadcast at V-Zone Sports, which he's amazing. His draft broadcast was absolutely fabulous. But there was a Raiders guy in there that was like, "No, we don't need tackle, and we don't need line. We need defense. I hope they don't draft a line." I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like they need yes, their defense.
Traded Trent Brown. You obviously needed a tackle
and Hudson. Like I mean, I'm just saying on the line.
We got rid of Brown, Jackson, and Hudson.
Yeah, and then the defense. We've already talked about that. Yes, it's not that your players were bad. It's the fucking scheme, and the defensive coordinator was fucking horrible. So we've kind of talked about that. So I okay. So you love the safety, right?
That Trayvon Merrick? Yeah, I think
I can't say his name.
That's probably in the first 3 rounds of the draft, I think that's the biggest steal.
Yeah, okay.
Because he was a projected first round pick.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I see what you're saying.
And to let him fall to us, and then we trade up 5 spots.
Yeah.
To take him in the second round. So, I mean, even if Leatherwood was a small reach, it all balances out when you picked up Merrick.
I'll be done in a few minutes.
Yeah. And then, so
and the funny part is if those two would have been swapped, if we would have taken Merrick and then Leatherwood, nobody'd be complaining.
Nope, if you'd have taken Merrick at 17 and then Leatherwood at 43.
Yeah, nobody would have been complaining.
I actually saw a lot of that on Twitter where a lot of Raiders analysts were literally Raiders people that were covering Raiders were like, just switch the fucking picks and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, then you'll shut the fuck up. Okay, so after that, who else do you like that you took?
Well, I like all of our picks. I think we picked up the player with the best name ever.
Which one?
Definitely fits Vegas too.
Divine Diablo.
Yeah, I'm looking. That's so funny because I'm looking at him from Virginia Tech for your round 3 pick.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like when they made those picks, I texted you, I was like, did the Raiders really take back-to-back defense?
Yeah, you did.
Like literally back-to-back, 79 and 80, we took a defensive end and a DB.
Yep, you took an edge and you took a DB.
Right.
Whoa, wait, what the fuck is an SAF? Vince, what is an SAF?
That must be like a strong side, like safety, like in the box safety.
So
he
was announced as a safety.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
so
no.
Must be
I'm
like
fucking oh my God.
But I think he's going to play
why don't they just put
S?
S?
Like linebacker, safety.
Yeah, it's probably like a hybrid safety.
No.
Like,
It's SAF, like they cut off the word safety. I'm just a fucking idiot.
Oh,
SAFET. They have edge, so they cut off the word safety. I'm not gonna make all of us
different names.
Well, it's funny, yeah, because they have CB, they have center, they have edge, they have OT, and then they have SAF. I'm just a dumbass.
Right.
So while we're doing this, we got to shout out Ascensions again. They made the shirt Vegas Benchwarmers. Jeremy's is down below, or Jeremy's is behind him again because he's got that tattoo and it's a V-neck. They just pop up at my work and give me free shirts whenever they can. Yeah.
Right. That's dope.
They're one of my customers, so yeah, it works out pretty well. So, is there anybody you did not like?
There's nobody I didn't like, but I mean, I liked all of last year's class until we got to preseason. We started getting into games.
Okay. Is there somebody that you really wanted that you wish they would have taken? That is a realistic possibility.
I mean, Sewell or Darrisaw. I mean, I'd have been happy with
Darrisaw, the D tackle from Bama.
Like right before the draft, I saw one analyst who had Leatherwood on the board. The Raiders taking Leatherwood, But I didn't look too much into it because Leatherwood wasn't talked about a whole lot.
Yeah, he wasn't.
So, but I mean, after doing, after they made the picks and I went and did my own research, I
know Mama's home. Mama's home. I know Mama's home. So, what about you, Vince? You know what? I'll go with the Chiefs. You know what? I saw a tweet today that I can't remember who it was, but I remember when I kept telling you we needed to take a defensive back. I forgot we got that defensive back from who his last name's Baker. He was with the Giants. He was drafted in the first round by the Giants. And he was like injured, or he got cut because of that charge that he got in trouble with. And so we picked him up. And then, so we have him and he's injured. So he's still rehabbing.
Ooh, Nick Bolton?
So that's, no. D. Baker. Yeah. D. Baker, DeAndre Baker. He was a first round draft pick. He played for the New York Giants. He was the 30th overall pick by the New York Giants in the 2019 draft. He was cut because he originally got arrested for 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of aggravated assault with another person, but all of the charges were dropped. So we ended up signing him midway through the season. Do you remember when DeAndre Baker got in trouble?
Right.
And who else?
Yep.
Yeah. So we signed him halfway through the season. So I forgot that we had him on the Chiefs when I kept saying we needed to take a DB in the draft. And then today I was like, oh, we actually have him on the Chiefs. So we're not taking – okay. So, you know what? I'm going to give – I don't know. I'm going to give us a C.
I mean, you kind of can't because – I mean, I would give yourself a better grade because you traded draft picks for a tackle.
I'm sorry. So including Orlando Brown, it's a B.
Right.
It's a B+.
So you
gotta
include that.
Yeah. Including the first round draft pick that we traded for Orlando Brown. I wasn't including that just off of the draft picks. That's a B+ because we got a 2-time Pro Bowler to protect our franchise. And speaking of and he's young, and as long as we get an extension, we have that side locked up. And that if we wouldn't have done, in my opinion, I think we picked people that why the fuck did we pick another receiver? I don't know how good he is, Cornell Powell.
Well, you got rid of a receiver.
Right. You lost 2, right?
We lost Sammy Watkins.
Sammy and I thought you. Oh, okay. That might. Okay.
No, everybody else resigned. So we lost Sammy Watkins, who has been often injured. We lost him, which automatically moves DeMarcus Robinson to the 2, which re-signed him, puts Mecole Hardman at the 3 or Greg Dieter at the 3. So I get they got another project guy. I don't know how fast he is, but it's just in my opinion, dog, you shore up the damn defense a little better. Our defense is absolutely garbage. Use your our offense, yes. Our speed is good. The receivers, and because you guys keep drafting receivers, we keep being able to replace them because we're going to have to, because we'll never be able to sign anybody to money. But right now, why I would rather see that as a cornerback or a safety or a D. Well, we got the D in. So I mean, that's my thing. We got the guard, we got the linebacker. So I mean, the tight end from Duke, I'm not sure. We'll probably run him a little bit at fullback. But I'm not really sure about that. I just wish our secondary was garbage. And it's not that it was garbage because of the fact that we were really young in the secondary. Chartavius Ward's going to be good. Snead's going to be good. Felton,
and you got to realize the effect of that your offense has on that, right? When you're putting up 40.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Teams are gonna be spraying it. So you know what I'm saying? So that puts a little bit more pressure.
And that's personally why I think we should have went more DBs. Because you have to have, because if we're scoring as quickly as we're scoring, they're going to get tired.
You gotta have 5 on the field, right?
You gotta have multiple people that you can put in and out.
What you guys needed to do was address the run the run game, because y'all couldn't stop a run if somebody gave each player $1 million every time.
And that's what I'm saying. So I would have been a lot happier if we would have spent on more. Like we got the edge, so I can't, or the DN, so I can't really say that much about that. But I would have been happier instead of that wide receiver if we went defensive tackle or we went quarterback. Or right. I mean, that's just like the tight end. I'm okay with, because again, they'll probably. They'll fuck around with him at fullback just to see what's going on. I don't know how well his blocking is. I know nothing about him, but just based up. But we need to stop the run. We can't me and you and Jeremy might be able to run through our fucking defensive line with a nice offensive line. I'm not saying that we would not die. Well, me and Jeremy would. You would be fine. I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is we could not stop any runs at all, and we did not address that at all. Yeah, I know we can never have it. Oh, so by the way, VESN Sports, that's the podcast that I watched for the draft show that I was talking about earlier. He is absolutely amazing. You should definitely go follow him on Twitter and on YouTube and all the social media platforms. He is extremely good. By the way, I know you know who this is, Coach. Alex Thomas. You know Alex Thomas, the comedian? He had him on his show. They're good friends.
Crazy. Right.
So he was on his draft show. So it was really, really cool. Basically, what he was saying is you lost Sammy Watkins, which I've already addressed, and you can never have enough pass catchers. You are 100% right. You can never have enough pass catchers, but you can never also have enough defensive people. Because right now we need to rotate motherfuckers in because our shit is just not happening. Like we need to have people that we can say, okay, Chris Jones, you're in the middle. Nandi, I think his name is. You're on the outside. You fucked up. Let's put somebody else in. Right. That's we got. I don't know. I'm happy with the draft, but I'm mostly happy because of the trade. Right. Without that trade, that I don't think the draft. But that also we already addressed our line. So a lot of these picks to me, besides the defense, were. Yeah, Chiefs. I'm sorry, Chiefs. Right. Yeah, we're just filling. Yeah. So the Chiefs already addressed their lines. Yeah, the Chiefs already addressed their lines. So I'm just thinking a lot of these we're just fill-ins. Vince, what about your picks with the Ravens?
So I will say I'm mad that we didn't get the safety that the Raiders got. So I kind of wanted Trayvon Moehrig over the edge rusher that we got. I'm happy with the guard from Georgia. I'm happy with that because we needed depth and we needed, youth on the interior. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy with that. But I really wanted the safety out of TCU. But it's funny because, I dig deep into it. So one of our undrafted free agent signings is the other safety that played opposite of Trayvon Moehrig at TCU. So we got the other safety from that same defense who had more picks, more tackles, a little bit more production. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like from that defense. So we got him as an undrafted free agent. So I grade our draft like a B+ if I count the undrafted free agents and I count the trade with Orlando Brown, because now we just signed a veteran free agent tackle. So, you know what I'm saying? Like we might lose a little bit of production, but overall I think it's going to be fine. So I give the Ravens draft a B+. And now we got a lot more competition in the receiver room, which is kind of what we needed. You know what I mean? Because we didn't really have any depth at that position. So I think
real quick,
kind of helped.
Comment came through. This guy says this is Business Sports. I'm sorry. He said the Ravens picks were puzzling. He would have loaded up on weapons for Lamar. What do you think about that comment?
I think he didn't really watch the draft. I mean, they got two really good receivers. They got Rashard Bateman, and then they got Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State. So they got two guys from two programs that ran a lot of routes, and that's kind of what you got to think about. Most colleges don't have that crazy route tree, but if you look at Oklahoma State, they're like 5 wide, and all they do is throw. They throw like 60 times a game, so they run like a full route tree. Same with Minnesota. They throw the ball. They throw the ball a lot from different types of sets. So honestly, I think that it was good with what they have. We already got Sammy Watkins. So when people say load up on weapons, I mean, what did they
Have
want
fun
us to
with
do?
that. Have fun with that.
Trade our
Have fun with Sammy Watkins.
Right. I mean, right. But he's, like I said, he's just a fill-in. He's a third down, like, 3rd and 5 when we need a hitch route, like somebody who's going to hold on to the ball, somebody who can get open. That's kind of what I view Sammy Watkins. I don't think he's going to be super production. I think he'll be, 600 yards, like 550, 600 yards total on the season.
You got to stay healthy.
What he will be is he'll be that like third down guy, our possession guy. When it's like 3rd and 7, you know what I'm saying? Like that dude don't make that catch. You know what I'm saying?
If he stays healthy,
I kind of think that's why we got him.
If he stays healthy, you'll get your money worth. I like just being a Chiefs fan and seeing him play on the Chiefs, which he has, but he's never healthy.
Mentor.
But he's never healthy.
And he's that mentor role because he's now the oldest receiver in our room, right? And nobody's really talking about that. Like he's the oldest guy in our room. Yeah. So like he's still young, but he's the oldest receiver. You know what I'm saying? He's the oldest most senior receiver in our room with the Super Bowl championship. So you know what I'm saying?
And he's going to help Hollywood Brown. Yeah. But I do agree with the comment we just got. He will be on the injury report by week 5, and I do stamp that.
Right.
He just last 2 seasons. I'm on a team that did not need him. He was rarely ever healthy. He was not healthy in Buffalo. He was not healthy in the place he was at before. This is why somebody as talented as a wide receiver as him has been on 4 different teams and has only really produced on 1. And that was the Chiefs.
And I've said this before about the Ravens too, and people think I'm crazy. A lot of people don't agree with this statement, but it was more, and this is from a coaching standpoint, the problem with the passing game was more scheme than it was.
Yeah, we said that. Yep.
Right. It wasn't necessarily people, bro. When you're
the
running
route tree was horrible.
2 streaks, when you're running 2 streaks, 2 curls, it's like, come on. Like if you had 4 Tyreek Hills, like that's not gonna get you. That's not gonna get you where you need to go. So it was more like they just snapped the ball to Lamar and they're like, hey, bro, do what you can, make a play. And that doesn't work. It works sometimes. It works against the Frowns. It works against, teams like that. But
it works until you get in the playoffs.
Right.
Let's be honest. Exactly. It works until you're playing up against a good team that's going to hit you in the mouth and they can score with you.
Right. Because they've got 18 weeks of film on you, right? Probably played you once or twice, already. So honestly, it was more scheme than it was people. So I think you add the young people just for competition, and then now we got the new receivers coach. Now we got a new passing game coordinator. So now I think it'll be a little bit different as far as scheme, hopefully, because if not, it doesn't matter who you got, bro. If you're running 2 routes for 4 people, you're
slants and streaks.
Right.
What was it? Slants, streaks, and posts, basically, right? Yeah, there was like 3 routes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like it was hitches, slants, streaks, and posts. Like those are the 4 routes that they ran. Right, and they would send Hollywood deep every time. It was like streak for Hollywood.
And Andrew, your tight end was almost always on a post.
Right, and he was always double. Right. So they would just bracket coverage him, where they would man him under, and they would have a safety over the top. And like you said, it was a disaster. So it was more so scheme, and like, hey, MVP, make a play. Like, here's the ball. Like, you can do what you can. So
no, I agree with you.
That's what's got to change. Right. That was the problem. And most people just watch the box score. So that's really what it is. They don't actually watch the actual game. They just kind of look at the box score, and then they see the stats, and then they comment off the stats. And that's people's problem. They don't actually watch the game.
Well, that's that. Yeah, you're 100% right. There are a lot now. I can vouch for this dude. He did watch the draft because, like I said, I did watch his draft. He is pulling for Lamar. He likes Lamar, but I get what you're saying with the people they just look at the box scores. I have gotten into so many Twitter arguments and so many where I literally am just like, wait, what did you just say? Okay, I'm done. It's completely over. Yeah, he threw for this many, and just because you threw, so did Jameis Winston. Shut the fuck up. I'm just it's not all stats. There's a difference between winning and throwing for yards and doing stuff on and just looking at the box score. I definitely agree with that with a lot of people's take. Thank you very much, V's in Sports, for jumping in. See you on your next podcast. Jeremy, what did you think about the Ravens draft?
I mean,
you want me to share? You want me to? Do you know who they got? You want me to share it?
Hold on, I have it. I mean, I like the Rashad Bateman pickup.
Yeah, okay. So there's their draft up there for you guys to see.
I mean, the person I want to see on their team succeed is going to be Shaun Wade.
Okay. And why is that?
I think that's going to be a steal because I don't remember what happened, but there was something in 2019. I think he was being talked about. And then 2020, you didn't really hear much about him.
Okay.
So the person I'd like to see succeed on their from their picks is going to be Shaun Wade. I like him.
I'm trying to pull up his stat right now. So he's a prospect grade of 6. I don't give a fuck what that is. 6'1", 196 pounds. Well,
yeah, I mean, I like their picks. I mean, if I were to grade it, I'd B plus.
Well, I think the issue with the Wade thing was, again, we got to remember Ohio State only played 5 games.
Yeah.
So that's why you didn't hear much about him during the 2019 because they weren't going to play, and then they were going to play. So they only played like 5 games. But looking at his stats, where'd I put it? I just fucking he was first team All-American and the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year in 2020.
Yeah, I like Shaun Wade. I want to see him.
So
we're talking about Shaun Wade.
Some backstory on Shaun Wade. In the 2019 season, he played slot corner, right? Because we had Jeff Okudah, right? Mm-hmm. We had Jordan Fuller at safety. So we had a lot of guys who are playing and producing in the NFL right now, playing different positions on the defense. So if Shaun Wade would have came out in 2019, he would have, he was a projected first round, late first round, early second round, third corner off the board kind of production. But he chose to come back, and then the COVID thing happened. Right. Yeah. So then Ohio State, like we said in the Big Ten, same thing happened with Justin Fields. They were saying he didn't play enough games. He didn't do this because Ohio State played 5 regular season games due to COVID. Yeah. Michigan chickened out. Team up north. I mean, not Michigan. I can't believe I said that. Team up north chickened out and they didn't play their game. So, you know what I'm saying? So Ohio State had a short season. And Shaun Wade was playing outside corner in 2020. So that's what all of his stats were as the cornerback number 1. So he's playing corner number 1 on the outside, shadowing the other team's, top receiver in the, in the game. So that's kind of the reason for his lack of production in that. So I totally forgot about that. I mean, that was a complete steal. The fact that we got him, I think that was that was J.K. Dobbins level steal. The same way that we got J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State last year, Shaun Wade was the same type of steal because I think he ends up starting as our slot corner, and then that lets us put, Marlon and Peters on the outside because a lot of people don't know this too about the Ravens is we had Tavon Young, who's a good young slot corner, but the guy's always hurt. So every season he's been hurt. In the preseason, he's had a season-ending injury. I think the last 2 or 3 years, a neck injury, and then he had a knee injury this past year. So we've been kind of messed up at depth in the slot. We signed Tramon Williams, who was I think working at Home Depot, and I'm not even joking. I think he was literally working at Home
something
Depot.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right. We signed Tramon Williams off the street. He was literally working a day job. So the Ravens needed that depth. The Ravens needed that depth at corner, and Shaun Wade was a J.K. Dobbins level steal, in my opinion.
I mean, it's I forget who I was talking to, but I told him if they could get Shaun Wade back to that 2019, or if the Ravens can use him in the right spot, That's going to be the biggest deal of the draft.
Well, I mean, trust me, the Ravens are going to understand how to use him. That is the one thing that they're going to know.
Right. And thankfully, he'll get to learn from Jimmy Smith, like Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, and he won't have that pressure. So he'll get to be the fourth corner, in the slot, So I think that helps him, honestly. I think that's a great situation for him. That's probably the best situation that he could have went to because he's got 3 solid veterans, to learn from, and that defense too. I think it's good for him for sure. That's a steal for sure.
Jeremy, we got a question in the comments for you. I'm assuming this is for you. It's not for me. Where did your first Raider memory originate?
See, it's hard for me. I can't really answer that question because me and you've had conversations. After my injury, I lost a lot of my memory from back then. So I don't know.
What's the oldest memory you have of the Raiders as of right now?
I mean, the biggest memory is going to be to 2001, the Tuck Rule.
Okay, yeah. So, backstory, Jeremy's actually been a fan of the Raiders since the 80s, but he was in the military, had an injury, and did lose some of his memory.
Yeah, I lost a lot of memory from back then. But, I mean, I've been a Raiders fan since I was 3.
Yeah, so, I mean, if people are watching the video and thinking that he's trying to search for something to show old, it's not. He literally lost his memory. I've been to his house. His house makes me throw up every time I walk into it. There's too much Raider shit.
No one would claim to be a Raider fan. I'm just saying, if I'm gonna claim memory loss, I'm being a Patriots fan, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, and I'm 6 rings over here, like.
Exactly. That is 100% true. What was your guys' biggest surprise of the draft? Like, biggest surprise out of everything? Take outside Aaron Rodgers, but like teams that traded up, teams that did dumb picks. Like, what do you think?
Oh man, I
think the biggest surprise for me would have probably been all the slides. How far people slid, the JOK slide, the
Morgan slide. Who else?
The amount of people that slid and
Darshaw.
And I'm gonna go out on my sword. I'm still the biggest surprise is Zach Wilson. I still can't believe that happened. So every year from now, we're gonna play this back, and next year I'm gonna play this back. And people's excuse is going to say, oh, it's too early. He only had 1 year. And then I'm going to play it again. And they're going to be like, oh, well, he only had, and each year there's going to be another excuse for why that was a crappy pick. Like, I'm going out on my shield. Like, Zach Wilson was the worst pick of the draft. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you say. Anybody.
So, Jeremy, that's his Jared Goff. That's his Jared Goff. I can't get mad at that because from what I saw in 2019, if you look at 2019 film, he was not very good. And then you look at 2020, and a lot of analysts, because I don't watch it, but from when I researched and what I've seen, a lot of people said in 2020, BYU was just better than a lot of people they were playing. They were just a better player. It was more or less like their ability and talent was better than who they were playing. That's why he looked so good. Him going to the Jets, he's not going to have that. He's not going to have that at all. He's also going to have an organization that literally is a fucking liar because they told Corey Davis that Sam Darnold was their quarterback. So I'm 100% surprised with that. My biggest surprise out of everything is the way the San Francisco 49ers are trying to spin this shit that Trey Lance was their fucking pick the whole entire time. Motherfucker, you did not trade up from 12 to 3 to get a quarterback that would have been there at 12. You traded up because you thought you were taking Matt Jones. This whole bullshit about, Trey Lance he was our pick the whole entire time. But, it was fucking Mac Jones. The only reason why Mac Jones was mentioned in the top 3 was because of San Francisco. Before San Francisco traded up, nobody mentioned shit about Mac Jones. Everybody knew he was going to the Patriots. Everybody and their mom knew that. And then they traded up and they're like, oh, no, Mac Jones is the fucking greatest person in the world because he's getting him. And then the 49ers are like, wait, hold on. Did y'all see what he just did? Can he do that? No, he can't. I had this conversation with Jeremy, and I'm going to say mobility in a quarterback matters these days. The only 2 quarterbacks you can name in the league right now, well, you can name 3 with Matt Ryan, that have no mobility that people keep pointing to were Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
Right.
Those motherfuckers are the pinnacle of quarterbacks. Like, you can't look at them and go, oh, in this day and age, I went through the divisions. Every quarterback can run. May not be able to run like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, but they got the moves like Mahomes or Rodgers where they can do what they got to do to get where they got to get. Ryan Tannehill's probably the exception, and Kirk Cousins. But we're talking about either one of them were drafted by their team. They were signed by free agents. Most quarterbacks that have been drafted can run besides Jared Goff. And we see where the fuck he's at. He is literally on another team after going to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
He's exactly. A journeyman already.
Just to let you know, your Zach Wilson take is exactly what I said for 5 years about Jared Goff. Like, he is not that fucking good. But that's what you see. So in this day and age, for them to trade up, and they traded up, and then they started hearing all this shit about why does anybody want Mac Jones? And they were like, wait, do we really want him? And then they couldn't decide between Trey Lance and Justin Fields, but they wanted to keep Jimmy G. I think if they could have traded Jimmy G for what they wanted, Justin Fields would have been their pick. But I'm
surprised they didn't.
But I think them trying to say, we traded up for Trey Lance originally, shut the fuck up. You were at Mac Jones's fucking workout. Shut the fuck up. We saw you with Mac Jones. We saw your ass. What happened was
you went to been in North Dakota.
They went to his workout and they started talking to him. It was like, wait, hold on. He can do all this shit and he's that smart? Oh no, we gotta go ahead and get him. So that to me was like the biggest surprise was not the surprise they took him. The way they tried to sell it afterwards when we know that was the bullshit lie.
Right.
Like, y'all did not trade from 12 to 3 to get a North Dakota quarterback. That obviously would have been there at 12.
Yes.
That's totally. Just me. Okay, so let's get back to this Aaron Rodgers drama real quick. Let's go over this because I have an issue. Where the fuck did Jeremy go? I don't know where Jeremy went. I have an issue with a lot of the slander that's going on with Aaron Rodgers right now. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is a diva. Yes, he is. He is a very big diva. But what fucking quarterback isn't right now? Okay. Maybe Lamar. But most quarterbacks in this league are a diva and have very, very sensitive feelings. I also do not like the fact that you have old timers talking shit. Like Terry Bradshaw going, oh, what? You're getting hurt because they drafted a quarterback? What the fuck are you talking about? You should just suck it up and play. Bitch, I'm sorry. There is a 30 for 30 called the 1984 draft. And I promise you, if you fast forward about 25 minutes into that draft, you will see Terry Bradshaw saying the same shit about Dan Marino. We don't need to draft him here. Yeah, so people don't know that. Marino played for Pittsburgh. They did not draft Marino because of fucking Terry Bradshaw. But he's going to talk shit about, oh my God, you should just shuck it up. Who gives a fuck if they drafted? But they have you on camera saying they don't need to draft Marino. So, like, when you were in that position, you were like, oh, fuck you. I don't need another quarterback. But now you're like, he should suck it the fuck up. Look.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I think Aaron Rodgers will get traded. And this is why. Because Aaron Rodgers will retire.
You think
Aaron Rodgers is not – he's not playing for the back. Aaron Rodgers is not Deshaun Watson. Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old.
That's true.
36, 37. So he could literally say, I'm fucking done. I am completely done with you. And if you don't want to trade me, I'll just sit out and I'll fucking retire. And then there's nothing you can do because I don't know how the salary cap works for the books to come off. But when he wants to come back, just like Brett Favre, I think they still have his contract. So he could check in 3 to 4 weeks and go, okay, I'm good. You don't want to trade me? Okay, I'll stay sitting at home.
Right.
So
that's true.
Then the Packers have to fucking trade him because that's fine. You can be a dumbass and just let him sit at home, but you have the ability to get money, to get something in return for him. That is not good business. Yeah, you have. Yeah, so there's still businesses, so they can have their asses. Oh, we're not trading him. Fuck him. And that motherfucker goes, I'm retiring. Watch them fucking trade his ass.
Right.
Because there's nothing you can do. You're gonna lose. They're not Deshaun Watson. Where Houston can fight what he's doing and go, fuck you. Sooner or later, you're gonna need this money. This is Aaron fucking Rodgers that was just on Jeopardy. He was hosting Jeopardy. Who the fuck does that shit?
It's crazy how football players have so much more leverage now. Like Tom Brady, for instance, and I mean that's a good point, bro. Like that's true. I didn't think about it like that. Like, right, he could just be like, all right, I'm done, and then
you don't have Aaron Rodgers, so he's not playing for you. And you didn't trade him for the draft cap for the capital you could have gotten for him, so you're in a lose-lose situation. And another thing,
it's like an Andrew Luck kind of thing. Like the Colts wish they could have got a pick or two for Luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I don't understand how people are not like. I've seen so many analysts, and I think I'm smarter than the average analyst. I don't know why, but why are people not paying more attention to Tom Brady? If I'm Aaron fucking Rodgers and I played for the Green Bay Packers and I'm as good as what I am, people are like, oh, he's fed up with the way they treated him. This is dissension for years. We've had no issues. This is all that other stuff, right? Did he not just see what Tom Brady did? Tom Brady literally said, oh, y'all don't want to help me? Fuck you.
Right.
I'll go to a different team. And that team bent over backwards for him.
Facts.
Bent over completely backwards for him. And they won the fucking Super Bowl. So tell me he's not sitting there looking like, wait. Bent over completely backwards for him. So tell me he's not sitting there looking like. Jeremy, turn the fucking music down. I don't know what Jeremy's doing.
Jeremy having trouble today, yo.
But there's no way he's not sitting there going, if I had an organization that did this, this is what I could do.
Even remember Russell Wilson had spoke out a couple of months ago. He went on that radio show like, dog, I'm tired of getting hit. He's like,
yes.
He's like, go ahead and trade me. He's like, you're not gonna help me. And then they ended up asking him like, who do you want to sign? Who do you like getting offensive linemen and all kind of stuff, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a crazy narrative.
So that's like, it's just, to me, it's like, look, none of this, you heard about Aaron Rodgers leaving, but that's because of the Packers organization, the way they do shit. They always get ahead of other quarterbacks. So you know this. They've done this multiple times. They did it with Brett Favre. Well, they didn't do it multiple times. They did it with Brett Favre. So they understand how they're doing this. Yeah, I know. I hear the loud noises. It's Jeremy trying to get back in. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Austin, for following us, for listening to us. We really, really appreciate you, Austin. Thank you. So that's what I think the issue is with Aaron Rodgers. I think he gets traded. He's not in the same situation as Deshaun. He can literally call their bluff.
Right.
He can say, and he's talked openly shit like they wanted to move on before me, but I threw a wrench in their plans. So I think he's done with the Packers. I think everything Aaron Rodgers does is diva calculated, like Floyd Mayweather calculated. Like it's the point where he knew what he was doing when he let that bombshell drop in the draft. He is a very, very intelligent person when it comes to that.
He waited till the morning of to drop it. Like it's almost like he found out like who they're gonna draft, and he's like, all right, bet I'm about to fuck it. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Like he saw their draft board.
Right. if he's like that.
Yeah,
That's
I just
crazy.
didn't. Yeah. Yeah, so I think he's gone. Like, I don't think he plays another. I saw on ESPN today, one of the guys gave him that's covered the Packers for 25 years, gave him a 5% chance.
So where do you think he goes?
This is the issue. He does have a no trade clause, but he doesn't.
Okay.
He does not. Not Deshaun Watson. He just doesn't have to report. So because
wait a second. So wait a second.
Yes.
Explain that real quick.
So Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So he has to be on the team to trade him to. Aaron Rodgers does not have a no trade clause, but understands the loophole that for him to be traded, he has to pass a physical and report to that team.
Got you.
If he gets traded to a team he does not like, he can literally just retire.
Report. I got
exactly.
You. And that would void the trade.
Exactly.
Right.
So they have to trade him to a team that he wants to go to.
Bro,
so I mean, like
Hey, could you imagine? So imagine in your normal life, right? So say you have a normal job, right? And your job's like about to fire you, and you're like, nah, like you have in your contract, like you can't fire me. You got to trade me to another company, like equal, like that's crazy, bro. Same position.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's amazing. It's like, but it's crazy the way it all works out. But so, like, Denver supposedly is the lead. Right. Denver right now, because they have Drew Lock, which is a young, or they have Teddy Bridgewater, which can be a bridge quarterback, which I'm telling y'all right now, I don't want to hear another fucking word about players honoring their contract if Teddy Bridgewater gets traded again. If Teddy Bridgewater gets traded again, any motherfucker that goes, players are soft and need to honor their contract, this motherfucker would have been on 2 teams after signing a contract, and they don't give a fuck. He had been told by 2 different teams, you're our starting quarterback, and they said, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. So anybody that sits up here and goes, fuck you, he needs to honor his contract, y'all can suck a dick and fight me in the comments.
Can you imagine having to, like, move that much? Like,
just
as you get settled in. Right. Just as you get settled in.
Motherfuckers move into new apartments and bitch and stress out. This motherfucker's moving from Carolina to Denver to possibly Green Bay. It gets worse as he goes up.
Right.
Like, there's no way. There's no way that can happen.
Hey, he's getting in cold. Yeah,
and
he's
whiter.
Getting colder as he
he's
goes.
going away from the color people.
Right.
So no, I don't want to hear. But so I say Denver. This is the issue. How do the NFL teams are still new to this. The NBA understands this, which I had this conversation with Viz in Sports earlier about the NBA, which a lot of the Jeremy just said my computer is restarting. Join from your phone. Just click the link in Discord and join from your phone like this.
He wasn't trying to be in that shit anyway.
So that's the issue. Like they're still going to try to win a trade. You're not winning a trade when you trade Aaron Rodgers. You've already lost. You're not getting the same compensation back that you're giving up. You cannot replace Aaron Rodgers. Even if they traded him for Russell Wilson, it's not the same compensation. Aaron Rodgers is a 3-time MVP and a reigning MVP. Russell Wilson has never had an MVP vote. Not talking shit, just based off of what they've accomplished.
Right.
So, I mean, this is my issue, right? Why aren't they calling the Texans?
That's true. Right. I didn't think about that.
Why aren't they calling the Texans?
Right.
Now, I know there's a lot of legal issue there. So nobody wants to touch this that's going on with Deshaun Jackson. And people are like, oh, there's a lot of, it's a lot of legal issue. Okay, cool. But at the same time, he's not in trouble. He hasn't been suspended by the NFL.
Right. So I feel like I would get out from under that shit now rather than
nothing is, I mean, I'm not saying that he's 100% Hey, Jeremy, I just texted you the link for StreamYard. So I'm not saying that it's 100% would go through, but fuck that. That's the best compensation you're getting. Like, called them, and we're not even talking about a straight up trade. We could straight up talk about a trade, a regular trade. Did your computer restart, or Jeremy, are you in on the phone?
Bro, I don't know what the fuck happened. Everything went black. Fucking, I don't fucking know what happened.
You got hacked, bro.
I tried to come back in like 18 times, and my camera wasn't working.
I kept letting you in, and then it was playing noise. So we've been talking about Aaron Rodgers right now. I said he's retired. I said he's getting traded because if he does, you've been listening, so you know, because he's getting retired. I just proposed the Deshaun Watson trade. I know that there's legal action or legal ramifications that's being taken place, but as of right now, he hasn't been suspended by the NFL. So worst case is maybe he gets suspended 4 games. Maybe 8. Like fucking Antonio Brown raped a woman and got suspended 8 games, or got accused of raping a woman and got suspended 8 games. So 4 to 6 games he gets suspended, and I think that Roger Goodell likes him, so maybe 2. Okay, allegedly. There's no video, so it's probably 2. Okay, 2 to 4, 2 to 6. Okay,
right. Allegedly.
So that's the best trade that I think they can get. Is why are they not calling and going? Even if they're not 100% sold on him retiring, right. Why don't they just send out fillers? Like, what would you trade Deshaun Watson for Aaron Rodgers? What else? Or would you be interested in that? Like, we may need another first-round draft pick, or we could work out that shit.
Like people are saying, though, I mean, if you move up to take Jordan Love, aren't you kind of just good with that, and you don't want a quarterback?
No,
I mean,
no.
But think about what you gave up, though. So think about it. You moved up to take a quarterback, right? So that means that you had to feel some type of way about that quarterback. That's like divorcing your wife for a girlfriend and then not end up being with the girlfriend. Like, you divorced your wife for that girlfriend. Like, you knew what you were doing with Aaron Rodgers when you drafted Jordan Love. Like, you were filing divorce papers for your wife, for the new chick up the street. So you're trying to tell me now you don't want the new chick up the street? Like, nah, bro, you have to. Like, at this point.
Okay, I'm trying to see exactly what their trade was.
It was like they moved up.
Austin, it's always a conspiracy against a Raiders fan.
Right. But it was huge, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They sent the 30th overall pick and the 136th overall pick to the Miami Dolphins to move up for 26th. Oh. So they sent, they didn't send shit. Yeah, that wasn't. They moved up because remember they only moved up 4 spots.
I think
that's the thing. Like when you say
it's going to unload Aaron Rodgers or trade him, their smarter move is to go with Von Miller and several first-round picks.
Right.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Roll with Jordan Love.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Jordan Love has thrown 55.
You're still going to have to roll with Jordan Love either way you look at it.
He's thrown 55 passes.
And he suspended 2 to 6 games. You still got to roll with Jordan Love.
His motherfucking ass was literally the 3rd string quarterback after them trading up for him. He played at Utah State. Like, we talk about competition. He literally played in the same competition as BYU Zach Wilson. Like, I don't think they're in love with him. I think they thought they had 3 to 4 years to develop him like Aaron Rodgers. Right. They weren't looking at him to start in 2020, 2021, fucking possibly 2022. Aaron Rodgers still has 2 years left on his deal. So, I mean, when you take him in 2019, you know he's not starting 20. You know he's not starting 21. And Aaron Rodgers still has 22, so that's 3 years. So there's no way they would think – they thought he was a project. And that in 3 to 4 years, just like they did with Aaron Rodgers, that he would be ready. But Aaron Rodgers was better, but very similar. They were trying to put him on that game plan. Now their game plan has been changed, and they got to abandon that fucking 4th-round draft pick that they traded him for. Like, they gave up a 4th-round draft pick and the 30th. That's not much.
Right.
It's not like it set them back. Like if they would have given up 3 first-round draft picks, then yeah, they got to run with him. But they gave up the 136 overall pick and the 30th pick for the 26th.
Right. So I don't know why I was thinking that they gave up multiple.
Yeah, and you don't. And I'm sorry. I don't want. You need to shut the fuck up with this mojo of putting Aaron Rodgers in our motherfucking division with the Chiefs and the Raiders. We don't want that fucking. We don't want that smoke right now. Okay. Second of all, if we're going based off of draft picks, you immediately put Aaron Rodgers on the Denver Broncos. Your first round draft picks are null and void. They're fucking 26 through 30. Nobody. Yes, in most drafts, in this draft, you got.
But you can trade all those. But you can trade all those first round picks up and get your.
You could trade him for Deshaun Watson.
Right.
You're still trading him for an unknown prospect. This is fucking Aaron Rodgers. Motherfucker, call the Bengals. I bet you they trade Joe Burrow for his ass. Like, you could probably get 15 quarterbacks that are young for Aaron Rodgers right now. Like, there are multiple teams. Like, okay, Buffalo's not giving up Josh Allen. The Ravens aren't giving up Lamar Jackson. But Miami Dolphins are definitely giving up Tua. Like, there are multiple teams that are giving the fuck up that think they're only 1 or 2 players away. So, like, no. And trading them for 3 first-round draft picks, moving up and hoping that you get lucky on a draft pick when you could literally call the Texans and get Deshaun Watson, which is better than any other prospect, and you could have him for 5 more years. I'm not saying they do that. I'm just saying if I was the Packers, that's what the fuck I do. I'm not going after Von Miller because even in my division, the Bears are better. The Lions might not be better, and we don't know the fuck about the Vikings. So if we make the 7th,
and no lie, the Packers pass rush wasn't the problem. If we're nitpicking, right? Like the Packers don't really need pass rush, right? Right. Yeah.
So again, I understand, right. But you're trading for Von Miller for maybe 2 or 3 years at a position that easily break. As soon as they get old, they get old. There is no in between with linebackers. These motherfuckers get old. They get old. They get old. Ray Lewis was old the last year that he played, even though he was really good. Right. He was still fucking. Thank you. He was still fucking old.
Hey, if it wasn't for that deer antler spray.
If that is the best trade package they're getting offered, I highly think that's a good trade package. I just think if you're the Packers and you have the key, why are you not calling for other people? Fucking Seattle called and asked about Russell Wilson, and they said no. Could you swap him for fucking Russell Wilson?
Right.
Okay, what about the Raiders? I would rather have Derek Carr than...
That'd be stupid because Derek Carr's proven the last 5 years that he can't play in a cold. Why the fuck would you trade for a quarterback that can't play in a cold?
I'd rather have him...
Green Bay.
That'd
be dumber than a fucking Von Miller fucking trade.
I would rather have him than 3 Denver Bronco first-round draft picks that are going to be in the high 20s. Right. That are going to get me nothing. The Packers picks will be more valuable.
You're getting a quarterback who cannot play in the cold.
I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying that's a better option. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, how's it a better option?
Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota.
So he's going to lose every fucking home game for you?
Well, Jordan Love's going to lose.
I would rather have the draft picks and try to get the next hot young quarterback. Like,
I see that.
I don't know.
I don't think they're.
It's all a gamble.
And maybe you get a Brit. Now, if they're going in Von Miller, Teddy Bridgewater, and 3 first-round draft picks, I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay because you got a bridge quarterback till Jordan Love gets there. No, fuck that. As the Chiefs fan, fuck that shit. I'm not okay with that shit at all. Get that shit out of my division. I don't want to see it twice a year.
Why are you scared? You're supposed to be the best. Why the fuck are you worried about it?
Obviously, we're not. Did you see what the fuck happened in the Super Bowl? A 43-year-old quarterback beat our ass at fucking his own defense. I don't want to hear shit. We couldn't stop Tom Brady from scoring the football. What the fuck are we doing with Aaron Rodgers and Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and fucking Melvin Gordon and Noah Fant? Stop it. Stop.
You need to be worried.
Your defense doesn't want to see them.
Right.
I don't really care.
John Gruden would be fun. Well,
I've
you
had
might
a
want to
shitty
see.
defense. I had a shitty defense before Gruden showed up. Do you think it really fucking matters?
You might want to see them. That might get Gruden out of there.
I don't really care.
No other team.
But I also now have Ngakoue. I got Solomon Thomas.
I know. You guys got more better on defense. Yeah, but this is the issue. Like, it's not. I'm not saying that he would beat us. I'm not. I don't. For the NFL, they're like, oh, it'd be great. No, I don't. I don't want us having one of the hardest fucking divisions. Like, I don't want us beating ourselves up all fucking season, and then we get to the playoffs. We've seen that shit happen. That happened. It happens in the NFC fucking North. It happens in the NFC West. You see this shit. Like, you don't want to be the team with the toughest fucking division. And if you had Aaron Rodgers in
up all last season and made the Super Bowl and shit the bed.
That's because we had the fucking ass division. The only team that was good was you. And y'all and fucking John Gruden decided to fuck all that shit up. We literally had fucking 4 wins given. Like, that's no shit. That was no shit. But again, as a defense, you don't want to have your toughest games to be your division when you're playing them all the time and beating the fuck out of each other. Like Ryan Clark has said it. Bart Scott has said it. When you have these rivalries and you play them all the time, that's fucking horrible. It's rough and it's physical. And you have to give it, and it's just, it doesn't feel well the next game. So I'm not, if he gets there, am I scared that he's going to beat us? No, we'll probably split with him. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I don't want us fighting for the toughest fucking division where we're week 17. We got to play the fucking game because it matters because we're in the toughest fucking division. And if you put Aaron Rodgers in that team, I'll put our division against any fucking division. We literally would have a fucked up ass division. We would have the rivalries, the quarterbacks. I mean, I would feel bad for the Raiders in this situation because you guys are going to get the shit in because you have the worst quarterback as of right now. But if Aaron Rodgers shows up, that's all I'm saying. I mean, your backup and your starter is worse than all of them. And I'm not talking shit about Derek Carr because I hate Derek Carr. We've already had conversations about Derek Carr. We've already had that. But I just don't want to see him in there. So where else would you like him to go besides Denver, Jeremy?
I don't really care. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Why does it matter?
Do you think he will leave?
I think it's 50-50. I think he gets traded or he gets so pissed off that he sits out and says, fuck it, I don't care, don't pay me.
Well, he's already said he might care.
My wife's an actress, so I mean,
he could go do Jeopardy.
Right, I was gonna say he's got that Jeopardy bag.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's either he lets it stew and pisses him off a lot, and he just says, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna sit until you trade me."
That's what I said.
Or he retires.
That's why I think he either gets traded or retires. But I do not think he comes back in a Packers jersey.
At this point, it's hard to see him coming back in a Packers jersey, especially after the draft.
He's too much of a diva to actually go back on that.
Especially
after letting that come out.
That and the way they drafted.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
I mean,
so
he doesn't have any real weapons other than Devontae Adams.
So last 8 minutes, we got conspiracy against the Raiders fan. No other team gave a shit and sit and spin to the NFL and Al Davis racial strength.
What?
Hey, that's the same thing I said, Vince.
So
I think the people asking the questions need to stop drinking.
Austin, thank you very much. Hey, look, even thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. We have a little fun here and there, but we do appreciate you watching and subscribing.
Just write your questions down before you start drinking, please.
I just don't understand the last. I don't understand the last. Okay.
Just write
The
them
other
down.
ones understand the conspiracy against the Raiders fan was when my computer
That's
went
what
out.
I do.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
See, I write my questions down before I get.
No other team that's independent NFL was when Davis sued the NFL.
Yeah, I get that. I understood that, and I understood what he was talking about with Al Davis's racial strength. That was probably going back to that tweet that happened with the George Floyd loving diversity. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I get it.
Yeah. So that's probably going back.
I need to stop drinking. Maybe that's what.
And he's 100% right with that, because as we know, Al Davis did have racial and gender equality diversity. Like, we already know this. He was all about winning on and off the field, and it did not matter your color, race, or your sex. We do know this. He did sue the NFL, and he did try to move the Oakland Raiders fucking 50 million times. This is why he sued the NFL.
He tried to move them 50 million times, but he did move them twice.
Yeah.
And he kept pushing to move to Vegas, but he could never make it happen.
All right, so next week on the podcast, Vince, do you watch the WNBA?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't.
I don't want you to lie.
I don't want you to lie. I want you to
the same level with me.
Right. I can't say I've ever seen it on the TV guide and been like, oh.
Hold on.
Nothing
Did
against
you
that.
Did you just say the TV guide?
Yeah.
I heard the TV guide.
The TV guide right here.
Remember when that shit used to get ordered and like you were a kid and it would come to your fucking house?
Right. Yes, it was actually a magazine.
It was actually a book.
Actual magazine, bro.
It was an actual magazine that showed you all the shit that was coming on.
It was actually it was a book.
It was and it would come to your house Dude, that's the first time I think I've heard the TV guide out besides my dad saying it in forever.
I think my parents still have copies of a TV guide.
My dad does too. So
no cap.
So reason why I was asking is WNBA starts next week. Shout out to the WNBA. I love the WNBA. Yeah, it starts next week. We watch it. Just to let you know, our Las Vegas Aces is really good.
Right.
Really good. Right. MVP level, championship, semifinal year before.
Right.
Really good. They be hooping.
Hopefully we can get some tickets to some games this season.
Yeah, we're trying to get tickets to the games. But yeah. So
hey, speaking of games, don't get at
wait,
this.
I was coming on that. I was about to say that. No. My next comment, as you were saying that, was my next comment was
you trying to talk about WNBA.
Where the fuck are we doing this bowling game at on Saturday? Like, as you said that, what was coming out of my mouth was, speaking of games, we need to and
we going live.
We gonna go live. We go live for Instagram.
So I think we should put a poll on our Twitter.
Okay.
And be like, who do they think is gonna win, and then we'll do some kind of thing, like, you know what I'm saying? I think I think we'll figure it out, and we'll do some kind of thing for, you know what I'm saying, for Team Womack or for team Grigsby, you know what I'm saying? Right, Team We Hate Me.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So where we want to meet at, and where, because if we go live, we'll probably go live from our Instagram.
Right. So that's what I was gonna ask. I'm not sure what bowling lanes are open. I guess we'll have to check it out and see.
All of them. I've been bowling 3 times.
Okay.
So just to give you a heads up, I literally bowled on a league from 7th till 12th grade in high school. Like I literally, so when I'm saying I'm not talking shit. Like,
and I haven't bowled in a few years.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm with it though.
So I literally spent every Saturday from 7th till 12th, if I was not wrestling or playing sports, in a fucking bowling alley.
So like okay, you gonna show up with your own bowling ball?
No, I don't have those no more. I don't do that no more. No, I stopped doing that. Like so
with a house ball and house shoes.
Right, he gonna show up with a.
I stopped doing that like 15 years ago. I used to have my own ball and shoe. I used to be the guy that showed up with his own ball, shoes, the double bag ball. So like 15 years ago, like when my balls got messed up, I was just like, I'm done replacing it. So I've been using house balls and house shoes ever since. Right. But I like
so we're gonna go team Chiefs versus team Ravens for this.
That's fine.
We'll do Ravens flock versus the Chiefs Kingdom, and we'll see.
That's fine. So you gotta be in Ravens gear. I'll be in Ravens Chiefs gear.
Right.
So where do we want to do this at? Like, what side of town do you live on?
I'm like on the west, so it don't really matter to me. Like,
wait, are you on the west side or the west?
I'm on like the new west, like 215. Nah, not like the historic west.
we just to let y'all know, in Vegas, we've got to specify.
Right.
There is a west side of Vegas that is not on the west side at all.
Right.
But it has been called the west side forever, and then there is a real west. There's even stores called West Side Mario's Market.
Right. I'm like IKEA. I'm like out by the IKEA.
Oh, so we could probably just do Red Rock then.
Bet.
Yeah, Red Rock. So I'll check to see what time because they probably have leagues going on Saturday. So I'll check to see what time the leagues are, and then see if and I'll text you and let you know what time we can go in and play.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
So you will bring your family though, right?
Tomorrow. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm bringing the kids and everything too.
Bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
All right. And Jeremy, you gonna be there to film and go live, right?
Wait, what'd you say, man?
I say Jeremy's filming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll film this shit show.
So you film, we'll buy your alcohol then. Okay?
Yeah.
Sound good? Jeremy?
Wait, what did you say? I'll film it what?
We got your alcohol.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Okay. There you go. All right. Say less. Okay. So
drinking Mai Tais all day.
Check us out on our Twitter at LV Benchwarmers, because we will be letting you know when this ass whooping goes down. This is gonna be an old-fashioned ass whooping, like go jump in the shower and pick your switch from a tree type of shit.
I'm going like 200. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling it right now.
We'll be live on our Instagram. That video will, of course, at some point in time, Jeremy will probably bring a camera too. So at that point in time, we can upload that to YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe. Look forward, because I'll probably chop this video up in a couple pieces, so that way we can put it up with the new intro. And without further ado, anybody else? Vince, you got anything to say?
No, sir.
Jeremy, take us out.
Put me in, coach.
Peace.